The more patriarchal a society, the worse it is for women. Uh, no brainer. And all religions like Islam and even other religions, they're all patriarchal in nature because they were invented by men. There was a woman called Saja who came out as a prophet right after Muhammad's death. So she was a female prophet.
We have an Islamic prophetess in the running.
Yeah,
This is
Saja.
cool. We barely get like like besides Hind and Khadija and Aisha, we barely get like these women figures. So enlighten us, please, Horace.
No, so
oh my god, I bet she was met with a very ill fate then, because this is not going to end well.
Yeah, because we know. So the so-called Rida wars or wars of apostasy. Actually, she was a wife of Musalama, the most. You remember Musalama, the Musalama Kasab. So this guy also claimed to be a prophet. His wife also claimed to be a prophetess. So they were like husband and wife, one male prophet, female prophet. Okay, that might have been all right. There might have been some equality. Like God can send both man and a woman as.
Or they were both equally as deluded and egged each other on, or were competing amongst each other as well, or thought that if either you become the prophetess or I become the prophet, it still means cha-ching, dollar bill, y'all.
Yeah. So anyway, so then the battle of the Rida War started when Abu Bakr led a successful military expedition against all these claimants of prophethood. The most famous one is Musalama. There was another one, Tulaha, and this Saja woman. So anyway, she was captured. Musalama was killed. She was captured, and she converted to Islam, unfortunately. So her claim to prophethood didn't last that long, unfortunately.
So do you know who killed her?
No. I don't think she died that way. I think she.
Okay.
She converted.
Yeah, because she converted to Islam voluntarily, as one does for the religion of peace when it offers you so nicely.
She says,
they make you an offer you can't refuse: death or tax or convert.
So anyway, so this news story is troubling this TikToker, Nuria.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'm seeing a lot of terrible news stories coming out of TikTok, and I think again, this is not about this woman, but I'm just saying the stardom on TikTok is not well earned. This is overnight success. There's not a lot of content. There's just dance moves or whatever. And the way the algorithm works, like one video, because it's 30 seconds or one shorter than a minute, you can instantly become a celebrity with one video, with one 30-second video. So it's not really earned. You haven't really put in hard yards or hard work. It's kind of like if you win a lottery, $20 million or whatever, then you look at most of them, a few years later, they all end up broke. So it's because it's not well earned. So I'm seeing a lot of the previous news story that we discussed of an American TikToker who went to Pakistan, got gang raped. He was also a TikToker. That TikToker who was abused in Pakistan. The list goes on and on.
By like a swarm of men.
Yeah, that one. And so I reckon because people are jumping too quickly into stardom and they're not really realizing the social media's power. Like, for example, you might think I'm very unfiltered. I am actually very filtered. There's so much stuff that comes into my mind, and I hold back, and sometimes Nuria tells me because we know that there is a responsibility. And on YouTube, you look at it like, I mean, my Urdu channel has just gone, well, the original one had 80,000 and then it was demonetized. So I started again. I've got that one's like 42,000. This English one is about to hit 70,000. I've been doing this for 4 or 5 years. And look how slowly you grow. And as you grow, you learn what you should and shouldn't do, or what could be risks associated with what you're doing. And I mean, some of these women don't even do anything. They're not like even speaking against religion or anything. My fellow Aussie ex-Muslim, Infidel Noodle, all the negative abuse, rape threats that she gets them from TikTok. And it's I don't know. There's something about that platform, and this is why I was getting those death threats. Remember that one? That was through TikTok
That was from
as well, because
TikTok as well.
there was a fan account who was taking my excerpts out, and he was taking the funniest bits, which were the most insulting bits, and they were going viral. 20, 30,000. It wasn't my official account. I just told him, just make sure. I somehow reached out to him. I said, just don't say Haru Sultan, say Haru Sultan fan account. So anyway, so these guys were coming after me. But anyway, as you know, I always hunt them down. What's it like, Liam Neeson style? I'll hunt you down. So anyway, so he backed away, as they always do. But I understand the dangers, but some of these women probably don't. So this poor woman, young woman, of Pakistani origin, she talks about a divorce process on TikTok before callous ex-husband, shoots her and then himself. So this Chicago woman who talked openly on TikTok about a divorce was fatally shot on Monday in her apartment by her ex-husband, who then turned the gun on himself. Raheel Ahmed, 36 years old, traveled from his home in Georgia to murder his ex-wife in her home in Streeterville on the new north side of Chicago. So officers arrived at the building at 4:30 p.m. after police requested a well-being check on Mr. Ahmed, as his family had reported him missing from the Atlanta suburb where he lived. Once police arrived at the police apartment, he turned the gun on himself. So you're going through a divorce as a South Asian woman feels like you failed at life sometimes. The way the community labels you, the lack of emotional support you receive, and the pressure to stay with someone. Because what will people say? Yeah, log kya kahenge, is isolating. It makes it harder for women to leave marriages that they shouldn't have been into to begin with. Now, one of another woman, Dr. Medea, she's been on a show, and the other day I just went through her account, and she also Pakistani American successful doctor. She opened up about her divorce process as well. And she said when she got divorced, she felt lost. She had, I think she had some children. She felt like, oh, I failed at life. My expectation was that I would, I'm
In this
married for life.
Yeah.
Yeah, this fairy tale. This is why I actually don't like the whole idea of this marriage, monogamy. And like, I'm sorry, this just looks cute and cuddly, but that's not how human psyche works. It's okay if you break up after 5 years or 10 years. Like my relationship ended after 13 years.
Yeah, and every relationship is a gamble. It was just, you never know.
It's never, nothing is more important than, your well-being. And what happens in these troubled marriages? Someone ends up getting hurt or worse. So anyway, so
killed like that woman.
Yeah, and imagine what she's been going through. This guy obviously went crazy about, and he must have felt like, oh, failure. Could I not please my wife or whatever? Why did she leave me? She's seeing someone.
Basic things like airing our dirty laundry in public, and like again from that mentality, saying that she's sharing it with the world on a social public platform. It's all linked to like honor-based violence and respect. And as you were saying, what are people going to say? It always comes down to like their honor being tainted in the community. And again, that which is such a normal thing for like a woman who's been divorced. Like even when I spoke about it for the first time, it was so cathartic. That's when you actually get your power back, when you can actually speak about it and confront it and tell your story unapologetically and say, you know what, any potential person that might have said no, stick it out, like you've got to make it work, you've got to just be patient, have faith or whatever, or it might get better. No, when a woman has made up her mind like that, and that's why it's so important. This woman probably made like a very conscious executive decision to share her story for the reason that it might inspire or help other women going through similar things. Yet just for owning her own story and owning her own truth and saying, I broke out, I said no, I refuse to put up with this. Again, a man is so threatened by that he would like want to go there, take her life in cold blood, and then take his, so he doesn't have to suffer the consequences of rotting in prison.
Yeah, but you've spoken about it publicly as well, so you don't have to talk about it. But did you? Somebody here just said that I was married only for 7. My marriage lasted 7 months. Been single for 11 years now. Just saying, feeling lost was never an option. But again, I'm gonna say that men, we always end up getting the, mostly on most part, we end up getting the best deal, or better of the two deals. But so it might have been easier for you, but again, Pakistani women coming from honor culture, even though they're well educated and settled in a free Western society, even they are feeling lost, or like, oh, I failed. What are my parents gonna think? What are my family gonna think? So Nuria, you spoke about it. You're divorced as well publicly. So did you feel like, oh, have I failed at life? Were you under pressure that you should have given in more, even though the other guy is totally whack job, or I should put up with it? He might get better with time. Maybe when I have kids, he's gonna change. Because these things are taught to women in our culture, even if they grow up in the West, and you grew up in the West. These things are taught as virtue. So did you think about these things? Did you think that, okay, maybe I should put up with it?
Yeah, I mean, the whole point that I stayed longer than I even should have, when I literally went against my own like mind and what it was telling me and everything that I felt was off. Like if I had listened and followed up those red flags, I would have been out a lot quicker. But it was that thought, that constant pressing thought that like I'm the eldest child and I failed at this one thing that you're definitely not supposed to fail at in our society. Especially if everybody else in your family thus far has, even if they are miserable and they just live under the same roof but they have no relationship, the fact that they haven't been divorced is like, because once you're divorced, it's like, I don't know, again, Pakistani mentality maybe extends to the rest of the subcontinent as well, is like you're only allowed to now meet fellow divorcees, or like you're relegated to only being with a man who's got kids or something, because you've like almost devalued your own worth in a way. It's really weird. But like even these like auntie matchmakers and stuff, they will take a divorced woman and just like fob her off to a man who's, maybe his first wife had died and he's got kids to look after, and they literally like send this woman over in like a kind of marriage / domestic servitude / raise this man's kids / you're not going to get anyone better because you're divorced, so be grateful for anyone willing to marry you kind of thing. It's just really, really messed up. There's all these taboos. There's all this, even though I should have trusted my better instincts and known that my family are a lot more progressive in that outlook and they would have my back. But again, when you're in a toxic situation and there's different levels of abuse, you're not thinking clearly. Like I honestly thought like the situation was much better. I'd like lie to myself that it was better until people had to remind me that this exact same thing has been happening recurringly. But yeah, there's so many reasons why women would stay in it, especially from a background like ours. The advice that they give you, the very people that you're supposed to turn to say, I'm really happy, or this is not a situation I can stay in, usually they are the ones who will send you back and say, you're not doing enough to make it work. And to go against that advice and push back against that when you are in like, dire straits financially, or you haven't got your independence sorted out, or you've got kids in tow with you and you want to make sure that you're all safe and you have somewhere to go, women aren't left with many options unless you go against all your family, or you end up at a refuge and then you slowly build your life back again, probably being ostracized from your family. It's tough. It's so tough. But I'm again in what the community in England that I see now, again, as generations move on, divorce is becoming so normal. It's like, I mean, it's almost a joke thing now. Like we have divorce parties, you celebrate it. Like when I tell people, even my own aunts, they're like, yeah, no, congrats, well done. Like, even grandparents as well now. So it is slowly changing, because even in Pakistan, they had slogans like, what was it? A divorced daughter is better than a dead daughter. These are things that Pakistani dads actually had to hear. Like if your daughter has gone to her in-laws' house and she's come back to your house, that's not the biggest insult or a thing on your honor. Would you rather have your daughter living, breathing, and you still be able to have her on earth and make memories with her? Like this is how like deep-seated the concept of honor, and this is why I hate honor-based violence the most, because it's just the potential for harm is so much when it comes to women. Your entire family's honor is between your legs, the success of your marriage, the number of kids that you have, all of that.
Yeah, I was going to say that, is that amazing? Like the most honorable men, their honor lies between the legs of their women.
Yeah.
It's just
not in their own conduct, you know, when they're beheading, or they're killing their own sisters in their sleep, or, you know, like putting their daughters in a room and locking her up so because she's tried to run away with a man she loves. That's not judged. You don't care about what people are going to say then. You don't care about how this monstrosity, this barbarity is being viewed. You just care about whether your daughter has experienced happiness maybe for once in her life, but doing something of her choosing, as opposed to do what you're told and speak only when spoken to, kind of, you know.
And a woman enjoying her existence, like feeling the wind or sunshine on her face, you cut it down by putting a bag on her. Even female circumcision, you know, there is a hadith. There is a Sahih hadith. Don't just tell me that this is just a you know, like an African concept. No, there's a Sahih hadith that says, do not cut a woman's clitoris too much. There's a Sahih hadith. I can't remember if it's Bukhari or whatever, but it's a Sahih hadith. But this is why, you know, like this is why I despise conservatism in any shape or form. These are conservative values. People talk about them. Yeah, you know, a woman's role is she's the core of the family. They even try to, you know, sugarcoat it. You know, you are the best. You are the core of our family.
You're the foundation of society. You're the bedrock of society. You're a homemaker.
And when she says, no, I don't want to be that. Okay, I don't want this privilege. Hey, stay here. You know, like, and then they start bullying her. So you know. People take that, women take that. Even women go through this trouble. I mean, divorce is not easy for anyone, I guess, but we need to change the attitude. We need to think it's okay. I give in this day and age, I give maximum average lifespan of a marriage, maximum 10 years. In my circles, I was the longest, but I've never seen anyone going past 10 years. And that's fine. They become happier after that. Once they separate, they become happier. They're like, okay, you know what good is a relationship? You're not even, especially when men go through this midlife crisis or whatever, you know, in 40s, and I think women are they're going through the last part of or what they might think is, you know, the last hurrah or whatever. The relationship with death. It's fine. It can happen. It's okay.
Go out with a literal bang.
Go out with a bang. Yeah, you go, ladies.
Literal.
Feel the youth again, feel the power, the excitement. It's fine, but again, these terrible cultures who have enslaved women, they would never allow that, and that's the outcome of that.
If you like these videos and want to support me in my activism, then you can support me on Patreon or PayPal. Stay free, everyone.